Good morning. Minute or two late. I'm trying to catch up with myself this morning. I'm trying to kick-start myself into the week. And I needed a bit of a jump start this morning. But we're here now. A cup of tea in hand. So good morning. Welcome to another week. Ordinarily, this would be a bank holiday Monday, but of course that bank holiday has been moved until Friday because of the PE Day celebrations. Not that those will be going ahead quite as anticipated, really, but that's on Friday. So Friday is actually the bank holiday this week, so we will wait and see what we do on Friday and whether I come in and do a live or not. I will make my mind up as the week goes on, but I'm here today. And last week we were looking at stamp sets in the catalogue that are retiring, that were on last offer. Get them now before they're gone. And I still encourage you to go and seek out that retiring list and have a look what's on it. This week we're looking at a slightly different angle. This is things that are going to be, that we know now are going to go ahead into the new catalogue. But if you want them, at the moment they're on the retiring list in their bundle form. So if you want both the stamp sets and the dies, you can get them now while the stocks last on the retiring list as a bundle at 10% off for the pair. But once we get into the new catalogue, they will no longer have that bundle price attached to them. So this is a get the bargain while you can. Let's have a little look at the sets that are doing that. So this is the first one that we're going to look at, and it's a really pretty stamp set. Hello Emily, hello Div, hello Beryl. I've not done my good mornings. Morning Mags, morning Valerie, morning Lisa, morning Thea if you're watching. So this is a really pretty stamp set that I've not used nearly enough really, and has real great potential, and it's really nice to see it carrying over into the catalogue to give us more opportunity to play with it. So I've dragged together a few bits this morning to hopefully create a couple of cards with it. Now if my head's all over the place, you want to see my craft room. Let's just hope we can manage to get through the morning finding what we're looking for. I'm sure we will. Okay, Big Shot is now in place. So we've got this beautiful stamp set that features these sort of arrangements of flowers, and they're sort of almost that's a very, all those emojis, that must mean Thea is watching. You get all these sort of lovely strip arrangements of flowers, and you have dies that then will cut them out, and that means they have wonderful potential to doing top and bottoms of things, so sort of either side of a greeting panel and those sorts of things. So you've got the 3 dies that cut out those 3 different floral arrangements. Then you've got some little dies that cut out these sort of little elements here, so these little flowers and leaf elements there, so you can add in extra things. You've got this nice little die here that will cut you out 3 flowers at 1 strip, and then you've got this handy die that will do you a scalloped border, and obviously you can run something through and have a scalloped panel sort of in 1 row of your Big Shot, and then have flowers coming top and bottom of it. So really nice combination of dies and stamp sets to create some lovely things. So I've got a couple of sort of half ideas floating around. Let's see if we can bring them to fruition. Now, which one shall we start with? Let's start with this one. I've picked out another piece of very vanilla card. We use some very, very vanilla on Friday. That's not easy to say, is it? So I've just knocked a box of bits all over the floor. Let me pick those up before they go wandering, because there's some odd stamps in that box that need going back in their cases, and I'd really rather not lose them. Where was I? We used very vanilla on Friday. So I thought, actually, let's do that again. Let's give Very Vanilla some love, why don't we? And I thought we would do a tent fold card for this one. So we're going to take that piece of A4 card and we're going to cut it straight down the middle there. So this is thick Very Vanilla. And then I'm going to swing that round and score it at 14.9. And fold and burnish, and that will give us our tent fold card. Let's just put the phone on silent. It's going to stand like that for us, so you get that sort of, well, like a tent really, hence its name. I've also cut a piece of soft sea foam to go on the top there, so I've already cut that to size. That's already 14.4 by 10. And then I have a couple of things going on here. I'm going to cut a frame, so I'm going to cut a hole out of the front of that, and then I'm going to cut a frame to go round it, but I'm going to use soft sea foam again. So although I'm going to give it a frame, I'm going to give it a tone on tone frame. So let's do that bit of die cutting, and then those sort of mechanical bits, the background card bits, will be done out of the way. So let's do this first. Actually, let's do that. So let's line that up where we want it in the centre of that card. About there, I would think. And I've layered that other piece of card underneath. Run that through the machine. Got two nice soft sea foam ovals to use on another project, but then I'm going to take this second hole, line that up, and cut ourselves a little frame. Now, it is only a very little frame, it's just enough to give a little bit of detail around that edge just there. If you'd have wanted a deeper frame, you'd needed to have gone made this centre oval slightly smaller. You couldn't have made this one bigger because this is the bigger of the scalloped oval, so you'd had to have gone down a size for that one. But that will be quite pretty, so just a little bit of a scalloped frame going round there. So that's going to sit on there. So let's move those out the way for now. And let's bring in our stamps, and I think we will use we'll have this one here, and we may need some of those little bits, we'll decide in a minute. So let's pop that up on a block. Which block are we going to go for? That one, I think. Let's bring in our piercing mat. Don't actually need a ruler, we'll put that back. And let's ink up these flowers, and I'm going to do a couple of these. One. They are just really pretty. Two. Right, so how shall we colour them in? Let's think. Let's go watercolour pens. No, we won't go watercolour pens because we've used Memento. We will go Stampin' Blends. Oop. Let's bring them out. Now we have soft sea foam in the background there, so that's quite a pretty sort of pastel-y colour. What are we fancying? Some Highland Heather might be quite nice. There's a light Blackberry Bliss there. I might bring some of that in. Flirty Flamingo. I'll grab some of these out while I see them because I might want them in a moment. We'll have some So Saffron. There's the light soft sea foam if we want that, because we have got some light soft sea foam in there. There's the dark So Saffron. And the light petal pink. Light Highland Heather. The light Flirty Flamingo. And we have the Granny Apple Green. Got the light Calypso Coral there. We'll see how we go. Right, there's the dark Calypso Coral. Possibly want another green. There's light Old Olive. And there's dark Old Olive. Right, let's have a look, see how we go there. So I'm thinking this sort of nice big flower here, because we've got one going one way and one going the other. I think we'll have that in Highland Heather. So let's just put down some dark Highland Heather on that one. And go over it. Morning, Karen. With some light Highland Heather. Blend that out, and we'll do the corresponding one on there. Some dark in the middle. Bring that over. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. Okay. This nice big sort of poppy flower in the middle. I think I might go Calypso Coral with that one. Let's bring some of the dark Calypso Coral around the edge. Might give that a bit of a dark saffron in the middle there before bringing the light Calypso Coral in and sort of blending that all in together. Oh, I'm going to need to come the other way. Light Calypso Coral is obviously one I need to replace. Let's put down some colour and then go back in with the other side. There we go. And then the other one. Let's come in with the dark. Put a bit of saffron in the middle. And then come in with the lighter one. I don't know quite who's been chewing the end of that pen. But we'll just lay down some colour. Then we'll come in the other side with that bit more detailed nib. And then our final one, I think we'll do in So Saffron. I think we could do with a bit of yellow in there. So let's come in with the dark So Saffron. Hi Sarah. Yeah, I have got lots of colours out, haven't I? I used to be indecisive and now I'm not so sure, Karen. Can't decide what colours to have. Certainly don't think they're all going to get used. And let's do the same over here. Some sort of dark highlights. And we'll come in and infill with the lighter So Saffron. So Saffron's an interesting sort of colour, pale yellow. It's not a bright yellow at all, but it's very pretty. Let's put down some greens. Let's go Granny Apple greens. Let's say, shall we go Granny Apple or shall we go? Just going to put in some dark centre bits there where those veins are. And over here. So this is one of the many sets, variety of sets that are on the retiring list that are going to be carrying over. We're not losing them altogether. They will be there, but they won't be there as a bundle. So it really is a question of if you look at this today and think, I really like that. That would be really good for X, Y, and Z. Then you need to get in there, get it in your basket, because come the end of May, you won't be able to get that 10% bundle price. Or actually, it may even be before then, because it will be until their bundled stocks run out, and they will only have assigned so much to bundles, because they will want enough inventory to go forward to have some at the launch of the catalogue. So even though it's carrying forward, it is still get it while you can. Now then, what colour shall we go for those little blobby bits? I've got this light Blackberry Bliss just here. I might put that in. Just on those little blobby bits just there. So really pretty little flowers. Hi Glenda, hi Doreen. Have I missed anybody? Oh, Emma. Morning, Emma. Cup of tea, then we'll die cut those. Or a slurp of tea. I won't drink the whole cup. Let's just move these pens out the way for a moment. And then we'll find our dies, and we'll find the die that coincides with that one, and it's that little short fat one, I'm sure. That way, look, just like that. So what I will do is I'm going to grab my magnetic base plate for this one, I think. So that we can line that up without it popping off. I'm just looking, where's my top plate gone? There it is. So let's wiggle that round and line that up so that we're happy with it. Oh, that moved, didn't it? I will reline it before I run it through. So it may not move on the plate of its own accord, but if you sort of slide it with your top plate, then it will move. That's user error, nothing to do with the machine. So there is one, just very pretty, and it's amazing the difference that doing it on Very Vanilla does as well, because obviously that's going to change the colours slightly as well, because you're not colouring on white, you're colouring on that sort of very soft cream. Oh look, I've just spotted that I missed a blob there. We will do that once we've cut it out. that in there. Let me grab my light Blackberry Bliss and let's do that blob. Right, let's have a look at this and see what else we want to go on it. So, and decide which way we want it to go as well. We might change our mind on orientation. Who knows? I'm just going to put, oh, didn't want quite that big a blob. It's very nice to know that in the new catalogue we're getting some more double-sided sticky sheets, which I could have used to on the back of that to die cut them, peeled it off, and then it would just be ready to stick. Really useful for intricate dies. So let's just lay that down there. Obviously this is quite flimsy. So let's just wiggle it into position like that, to come on there like that. Just looking at greetings. I'll use this one just here. That says, "Thank you from the bottom of my heart." And that hopefully will sit in the middle there. So let's, I don't stick that down yet. I'm just going to line it up approximately where we want it. Morning, Wendy. About like that. Let's ink up our stamp. It's never easy quite lining up straight when you're trying to look round a camera. Perfect. Now we're going to have one of these coming like that around the bottom, and another one coming round the top like that, and instantly you've got a really pretty card. Now, do we want any of these other bits? What I might do is take, what do I want to take? This leafy one just here, and some, I'm going to turn my heater off, warm. Got some soft sea foam ink and this little leaf stamp. Let's ink that up. Just going to put some leaves on the background there, so just tone on tone. Coming out there. That's pretty. So we've got this little sort of pretty little flower. What I might do with that is I'm going to take all of this away, bring in my embossing buddy and my Versamark, and we will have, I think I'm just going to do clear embossing powder. Just give it a little bit of shine in the background. And again, so if we sort of come here and this bottom piece just here, so about there and about there, and on the top about there and about there. What do you think? Let's have a look. Really need to fill up my clear embossing powder, I think. Okay. Let's bring in our heat gun. And actually with clear embossing powder like this, it sort of fades into nothingness, but it will pop slightly when we heat it. It would just be, again, quite tone on tone, but also a little bit of shiny. Not to burn my fingers. Let's just bring in my ink rubber and get rid of that mucky ink mark just there. Okay. Let's bring back in our flowers and some dimensionals. Hi Caroline. Well, lovely to have you join us. We're having a bit of a play with the Bloom and Grow stamp set and coordinating dies, because they are one of those things that at the moment you can get at a bundle price, but only while stocks last. They certainly were in the UK shop last night when I was looking to see what was there, what we could be playing with. That's the thing about doing these things. You do have to do it a little bit by the seat of your pants. It is a bit sort of like you can't plan it a week in advance, because there's no guarantee that those things will be there. So let's bring that little set of flowers. I'm going to bring it over slightly because we've lost our shiny dots that side. So we've got that sort of little tone on tone, that clear embossing powder, shiny with the little flowers, just the stamped on leaves. I'm going to put some We're here every morning, Caroline, Monday to Friday. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't know where you're from. Are you UK? Australia? We have ladies joining us from all around. Anybody that's here from the States, it tends to be catch up that they catch up on more often than not because of timings. But this 9 o'clock slot, we hit the UK first thing in the morning, and the Australian ladies are normally eating their tea, making their tea. So there, that's really pretty, isn't it? It is such a pretty little stamp set. No, I don't think I want sequins. In fact, I might go pearls. Northern Ireland. How lovely. I think you're my first lady from Northern Ireland. But yes, particularly I haven't always done every morning, but in these strange times of ours, we've been doing every morning. It's really pretty, isn't it, Lisa? If you haven't got it, yeah, it's one that you ought to be thinking of before, because you've got it to play with for another year if you're, demonstrating and things with it. But you want to get it while it's on bundle price if you can. Save yourself that 10%. So there we go. I haven't stamped anything in the middle. I shall do at some point, but that's just the outside. So that is just that one flower from there. So that's that little, the smaller sort of squat little flower in there. And then we're going to have and the fact that you can die cut them means that it gives you so much opportunity for sort of layering. And you can imagine that if we'd have had a strip and we've done a little scalloped oval, we could have had just a piece of card that we'd used that scalloped die for, top and bottom, and perhaps had these, top and bottom or tucked underneath, peeping out or whatever. They're just, it's, yes, so many lovely things. In fact, let's see if I can find... Let's have a little look what samples they have in the catalogue, in the current catalogue. I obviously can't show you the new catalogue. No. There we are. So look how lovely that is. That's a lovely sample. What else have we got? Page 131. Yeah, you can see, look, can you see that scalloped border with those flowers underneath sticking out, top and bottom, layered up. Just really lovely. The fact that you can not just stamp those, but that you can then cut them out gives you just such great opportunities for layering up. So there's our one card. We've used Very Vanilla again. We've gone for a 10-fold card, so it will stand like that. Obviously we did that out of thick Very Vanilla to give it some substance when it's standing on somebody's mantelpiece. Beautiful. So the other bits and pieces that I've got here, so I think we're going to go this time, I'm just going to go standard. I'm going to cut a Whisper White card base, so again using the thick, but this time thick Whisper White. Let's cut that at 14.9. Swing it round. I must put on my wish list, sort out blade, score a blade for new trimmer. I think that's perhaps what I need to do today. I need to almost sit and make lists of all the things that I need to do, because it's little jobs like that that you think, oh, I must do that, and then you forget about it till the next time you come to use your trimmer. Now I've got here some designer series paper from the Woven Threads pack, because I thought I quite like the idea of using Rococo Rose. So I thought that what I would do is I'm going to recover that entire card with that Rococo Rose. So that piece of paper is just slightly bigger than I need it to be, just to give me some wiggle room to ensure that I'm covering the entire front of that card. You can have a bit of thank you. And we can put that on there. And because it's nice wet glue, we can wiggle. Now I could take my trimmer and do this, but I'm actually going to take my big scissors and just trim along that edge. And we'll come along that edge, and then we'll fold it. Oh, got a gluey mark on the back, so get rid of that. And let's trim. Oh, there. Well, that's a pain, isn't it? That card hasn't quite So I am going to bring my trimmer in. And trim that off. That's it. So now we have a completely covered front of our card, which is rather lovely. I do like this woven thread paper. Obviously that is retiring, that is going. I've cut myself a piece of Rococo card and I've actually made it 13.9 by 9.5. So we've got a nice little flash of that paper underneath. And I've also got there a piece of shimmery white cardstock that I have cut at 13.4 by 9. So let's put our card base to one side for now and let's concentrate on here, because I thought what we would do first is that we'd put down a bit of a watercolour wash, hence why I went for shimmery white cardstock. But excuse me slurping, Caroline, I always have to have my cup of tea with me. Can't function without my cup of tea with me. Right, let's add in some water to there. And let's put some Rococo Rose ink on the back of there, so we're not worrying. Dog is obviously joining us in this project as always, because I can see a hair in there. Does like to get involved. Bless him. Okay, so there's a background. We're just going to let that sort of do its own thing, dry off for a moment, and then let's bring in and as always, can't see what I'm looking for. I'm just going to grab another piece of shimmery white cardstock. I thought I'd got a piece there ready to go, but I obviously wasn't as organised as anticipated. I'm throwing embossing powder on the floor. That's not good. Luckily the lid stayed on. Just going to cut smither off the end of that sheet, so we've got that to play with. Right, which flowers shall we go for this time? I'm going to go for this other one here, with the one with the roses, I think. And I think I'm also going to do a couple of those as well. Okay, so let's get our block. We'll go back to this, what is it, the eye block, long and thin, but the bigger of the long and thin blocks. They're really useful having these slightly thinner blocks, because it's quite difficult getting your hand round a really big block, which is obviously where then your Stamparatus comes into its own. Much easier to use them the big blocks. So there's that flower. So I just want one of those this time. And then I'm going to do some of these. Let's have 1 and 2. I'll stamp 3, whether we'll use 3, we'll see. And then this little blobby one here, again, I'll stamp 3 and we'll see how many we use. So I think with this one, we'll do some watercolour. Let's give that a good squeeze. What other colours would we like? So I'm going to do these roses in pink, obviously. Not obviously, but I'm doing these in pink because I'm not suggesting for a minute that roses can only be pink, because that most certainly is not the case. Just picking out some colours. What colours? How many do I need? I need another one, really. Let's go. Do we want to go? Yes, let's go rich raspberry. Okay. It's the thing about these new ink pads, you really do have to give them a good squeeze to get your ink in the pad. That got it that time. So let's do a bit of painting for this one. We did pens for the other one. This one will watercolour. And this Rococo Rose is a beautiful soft dusky pink. My washing machine is now taking off. And then this rose just here. I'll just lay down some colour and then in a minute. Oh, I've just realised what I did. Did you spot the deliberate mistake there? I'm watercolouring this and I stamped it in Versamark. No, I didn't. I stamped it in Memento. So this is the point where you do as I say, don't do as I do. If you want to do this, make sure you stamp it in StazOn, and then your ink won't bleed like mine is. Let's pick up some Pear Pizzazz. Spot the leaves. And we'll do these leaves just here. We could have had a second green coming in, but we'll stick with one. Obviously, as always, if you are doing something like this, I'm going to add in some green there. We shall cut those out, but just give it a bit of a background of colour. And obviously, because it is a watercolour effect, you can get away with all sorts of things. I've got some terracotta tile here. Oh, it doesn't want to open. Thank you. I thought we'd do, I'm going to water this down quite a bit actually. I thought we'd add in some terracotta tile just here. It looks like honesty. We could have perhaps used some, just used a spot of wink of Stella or something in there. But that's the nice thing about doing these sorts of things. Hi Angie, you're eating dinner. Excellent. Hope you got something nice. Just little dots of colour in there. So I don't know how many of these we'll actually use. We'll see. Dot, 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 dot. Actually, I think I'm going to go for a yeah, mango melody for those little flowers just here. Just adding in that colour. We are having some new style water brushes coming in the new catalogue. That will be interesting to see. One of them is a really wide brush. So will, I'm sure, be fabulous for things like laying down those watercolour washes, because it's... Oh, I can see a little leaf that I've missed there. It's gone really muddy where I used the wrong ink. There we are, that's a lesson to us all. We learn things from watching things that go right, and we learn things from watching things that go wrong. So if you go away and go, oh, I mustn't do what Helen did, and use the wrong ink, then I have provided a useful service today. And then I've got some rich raspberry, and I'll use that in these dots just here. So a slightly different, sort of slightly more purple tone. There we go. Right, well, that is, you shouldn't necessarily clean your brush on the back of your hand either, but I do. So while that is drying a little bit before I cut them, I'm going to come back into, I've blobbed that now. I'm going to come back into our watercoloured background, and I'm going to go back to that little flowery stamp. And I'm going to do a little bit more embossing with that, but this time I'm going to use gold, I think. Or actually, because we've got quite a few pinky tones, I think I'm going to go, hi Debbie, I think I'm going to go copper. It's very lovely to have Debbie joining us with this morning. Debbie is the lady that introduced me to the wonder of card making and the wonder of heat embossing a great many moons ago when we were working together with groups of children. She is the lady responsible for me being here today. So let's go and just put in some of these little flowers, and we're going to do that in copper. And Debbie now spends her time helping brides find gorgeous wedding dresses, including quite a few years ago now, my own daughter. So, but not able to do that at the moment. Must be so frustrating for those poor brides. I know of a few brides that have had to cancel weddings. Must be heartbreaking to have got this far in your planning, years into your planning, because people take years to plan their weddings. And one of my own lovely team members hand painted, watercolour hand painted, no line watercolouring, all the invitations. They were just stunning. And now of course the wedding has been rearranged. They'll need something else, bless her. But I'm sure she'll come up trumps with something equally stunning. Right, let's find the right die for that one, which I do believe is that. And then we want these little dies. We're going to need that one and that one. We'll pop that on our magnetic base mat so that it doesn't wiggle. That one's going to jump. These mats do this sometimes. They do jump slightly. Just means you have to wiggle them. It's where the magnets, the base plate is full of little magnets sitting in that plate, and sometimes they move around slightly. Right, so we have one big flower. Ooh. And one each of these little ones. That definitely moved, didn't it? But we might still be able to use it tucking out of something. That one definitely pinged. Stay. One, two, they're better. And last, but by no means least, let's move that on the base slightly. Try and find a spot where it's not going to jump. One is and the other isn't. You may, if you follow other demonstrators, you may have picked up on the knowledge that in the not too distant future we have got a new die cutting machine coming, and that will have a magnetic option that's slightly different, so hopefully won't have those issues with jumping dies. But that's exciting. That's something to look forward to. That won't be with the issue of the new catalogue, but it hopefully won't be very much longer. Okay, let's have a look at what we've got going on here. and what else we want, which way we want it to go. That's rather pretty. Might just smudge it all up a little bit before I stick it on. Have it coming up about there somewhere. How pretty is that? Right, do we need... oh. I think I've got any of the oh, I have just got the tiniest smidge of this pink ribbon left, so we might have some of that going on as well underneath there. So let's just move these to one side. Now we've done a little bit of thinking about how we're going to build this up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this watercoloured piece to this Rococo Rose background card, and I'm going to use Tombow because it has been we have put a watercolour wash on it. It does tend to make it a little bit bendy. So by adding it, oh, sticky mark, look at that. So we've gone from one sticky mark to lots of sticky marks. Glue on my fingers. That's better. Oh, okay. There we are. And then I'm going to take some of this ribbon, and this looks very odd now, but we're going to stick those flowers on the top. So once they're stuck down, we won't see this mechanics underneath. I'm going to just put that down there like that. Going to use some dimensionals to stick these flowers down. I have one on the top and on the bottom. I'm going to put top and bottom like that, and hopefully we'll be able to sit them either side of that bulk of that ribbon then. And these little bits, I think we'll bring in our glue dots. That one stuck to my finger. Let's add that one on there as well. And just adding in some glue dots. And putting in this is the one that got chopped off a little bit, so we'll layer those up before adding those in there. And then we'll put some dimensionals on the back of here to raise this up onto our card base. So this one is a far more sort of, well, they're both sort of pretty, but this one is really quite vintagey. Let's bring out some of our woven thread sequins. And, oh, that's my sticky thing. My sticky thing actually isn't on my... And we'll just pick some of these sequins out of here. I'm going to put one over that blobby bit just there. We'll have one coming down here. Obviously we can't have an even number, we need one more, and we'll have that coming up there somewhere. Oh, come off my finger. Oh, now it's pinged. Thank you, Caroline. Right. What do they say? There's no mistakes, just opportunities for embellishments. That's that one. And last but not least, and then what I might do, add some water to that ink. Just put a few splatters in the background. Okay, that's pretty, isn't it? Yeah, don't look too closely at where the ink and the muddied. But yeah, so there's one card and there's the other. So one obviously is coloured with blends, so it's a bit of a stronger colour. But this is then watercoloured, soft layers and all those sorts of things. Beautiful, beautiful stamps and dies. So these are not stamps and dies that are going away. We're still going to be able to get them when the new catalogue launches at the beginning of June. But the difference is, if you want them, get them now. Because if you get them now, you still get that 10% bundle price. The bundle price, the stamps won't disappear, the dies won't disappear, but that bundle price will. It will no longer be available at a bundle price. So save yourself, this is now on your wish list, save yourself 10% and get it in your basket now. So we will come back and have a play with something else. Another bundle that is carrying over, but the discount isn't tomorrow, just to make sure that you get the best use of your pennies. Thank you for joining me. It's now breakfast time, and I'll see you all in the morning.